All right, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I am thrilled, and I mentioned it to the guests just a moment ago. My favorite subject in the world is Bronx music, and we are really right in the center of Bronx music this evening. Let's say hello to my good buddy, longtime friend of the Bronx. I call him Maestro because he is a maestro. Bobby Sanabria, nice to have you with us as always.
Thank you, Gary, and hello to my fellow Bronxites out there viewing.
There you go. And this is really a special moment. Bertha Hope of the Bertha Hope Quintet is with us, and Monica Mo, if I pronounce that right, Monica Mo Hope is with us. We're here to talk about Sunday, September 10th, at the Bronx Music Heritage Center Plaza. 438 East 163rd Street. Something very special is going to happen, and that is a tribute to the late, great Elmo Hope. Before we let Bertha and Monica in, Bobby Sanabria, why is this just so important to do? For people who don't know, who was Elmo Hope, and why was he such a significant figure in jazz and the Bronx and everything else?
Well, although Maestro Hope is a forgotten figure by many in the canon of pianists that are revered in terms of modern contemporary jazz, what became known as bebop, which was this virtuosic form of jazz that challenged the musicians with new harmonies, jagged rhythms, etc., new incredibly fast tempos at times. Well, one of the masters of this was the great pianist Elmo Hope, a contemporary of Bud Powell and many of the other great pianists of the time period, onward and up through Oscar Peterson. And he's long been forgotten, but this is his centennial that we're celebrating. And he has a connection to the Bronx because he lived in the Bronx. He was he has a connection also to the Caribbean because his father was from Barbados and his mother was from Antigua in the Caribbean. So and of course the Bronx exudes the Caribbean in many, many ways with all of the different islands represented. So Elmo, in terms of his music, besides being a prolific pianist, he was a prolific composer as well. And we'll be honoring him with my Cuarteto H opening up the festivities by performing some adaptations of some of his music in a Latin jazz context, adapting him to Afro-Cuban, Brazilian rhythms, etc. And it's very easy because of Elmo's Afro-Caribbean roots. Well, the music that he produced has the rhythms baked in already, and they're very easily adaptable. And
Listen,
that, we'll be opening up for the incredible Bertha Hope, who is a master. You call me master. She is a maestra in terms of the jazz idiom.
I have to just interject. I love how you say easy. Yeah, it's easy for some. It's not really easy for others. And I understand how you, Bobby Sanabria, would say, well, this is easy. But really, it's brilliant work. And we're thrilled that, Bobby and his group will be out there. Bertha, just talk about, your roots are significant. Talk about, just you getting started. Did you learn from Elmo? Were you both playing music at the same time? I mean, how did you? We know that he passed in 1967 suddenly, and at the age of 43. Very sad. But were you doing music before that? Yeah, just give us a little bit of your own background.
Yes, I was playing with the Johnny Otis band in Los Angeles when I was 15.
Wow.
Johnny Otis got special permission to let me play as long as I was kept away from the bar and there would be no alcohol or any funny stuff going on. So
That's what they told everybody, but okay.
well, did a pretty good job of protecting me and as the little as
But that's how you got involved in music, and that's when you started.
no, I was involved in music practically all my life because
Wow.
my father was a singer who did bel canto and German lieder and American Negro spirituals. So the
Mhm.
house was filled with all kinds of music from as long as I can remember.
And
And I
and Why is it important for you to have this? This is going to be a great afternoon. It's Sunday the 10th at 3 p.m. At the Bronx Music Hall Plaza. Why is this important to you?
Well, out of all the concerts that we're doing, this is the only one that's going to be in the Bronx, in the neighborhood where Elmo spent his teenage years, uh, along with Thelonious Monk and Bud Powell. And also, Mayor de Blasio designated September 10th as Elmo Hope Day.
Oh, I
While
didn't know that. That's pretty special. Um,
and
Monica, Monica, I just want to make sure we get everybody in here. Monica, for you, much like Mom, you had music in your ears the the minute you were born. I mean, let's just talk about your own roots.
Well, actually, before mom says that while I was not yet born, she was playing, and I was playing music. But what my mother was getting ready to say, which she didn't get a chance to finish, is September 10th, 2016, was designated as Elmo Hope Day by former Mayor Bill de Blasio. So that is why we wanted to do a concert on September 10th, this year in his centennial year, in connection with that proclamation that was put forth by the mayor. So
Mhm.
my early musical roots were singing, more singing than instrumentation. I started singing gospel when I was 10 years old, and I traveled with a choir for 7 years, from the age of 10 to 17, traveled with a choir in all the five-state area, and the choir grew from 15 people. I was one of the founding members up until about 150 people. And then over the years, grew into jazz myself. So I
Yep.
do perform jazz, not as frequently as my mom, but yes.
So this is generations of hope, if you will. I want to show a clip just so people will know a little bit about who you are and what you sound like. So this is Bertha and Monica doing a duet. So let's just let it rip, and folks, strap yourself in. It's just too beautiful to be believed. Take a look.
No complaints and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams and placing bets. For I have learned that all you give is all you get. So give it all that you got. I've had my share, I drank my fill, and even though I'm satisfied, I hunger still to see what's down another road, beyond the hill, and to do it all again.
My goodness, there we go. Um, Bobby, this is important. I mean, it goes without saying. This is important to the Bronx Music Heritage Center. This is literally what the Bronx Music Heritage Center is about, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. We're celebrating all of the great artists and all of the great different forms of music that come from our beloved borough. I like to call the Bronx the borough of music. Of course, it's people call it El Condado de la Salsa, the borough of salsa, and of course, it's the birthplace of hip hop. But jazz is a big part of the history of the Bronx, in particular the South Bronx, with many jazz clubs that used to exist and a plethora of musicians that used to live in the South Bronx, including uh, Elmo, and also the great Thelonious Monk. And along with Bud Powell, you could call those three the holy trinity of modern jazz piano.
In the Bronx.
But he's going
Um,
into the 50th.
Bertha, you and Monica was telling me beforehand that you're going to be performing all over the place. You never stop. This is literally in your blood. You put this quintet together. Um, just talk to me about what we're going to see on Sunday the 10th from you. We know that Bobby's going to do his thing with his folks, but what are you going to do? And you and Monica.
Well, I'm going to be participating as a member of the quintet in my role as pianist. And musical director. We're going to play some very challenging and not too frequently heard compositions of Elmo's that we've been playing for about a year now, and hopefully we are going to be continuing all over at least the tri-state area until June of 2024.
So it's almost like a year and a half here, or a year's tour. This is really a terrible question to ask. With all of that music that he left us with, he left you with, and you knew it intimately. How do you choose what you want to play? I mean, you must love all of it. You know, and here you are. So I don't know how long the performance is going to be, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. But there's a a lifetime of music. How do you choose? Is it always your favorites? Do you say, hey, I'm going to pick something a little different this time? How do you figure it out?
No, I try to pick a variety of the music. He had two very specific writing periods, and they're very noticeable in the styles in which he wrote. Some closer to the 40s and others closer to the 50s. I like to pick music that's going to challenge my musicians. So it's not always, I mean, there's so many that are my favorites, but I like to challenge the musicians, and we also look together at all of the music that I have to work with to see how we can expand the band's repertoire slowly as we stay together.
I love how you say slowly. Of course, it's many years, but last thing we're gonna have to run. Um, does Bertha? Does Monica wake up singing? Does she wake up singing first thing in the
Oh,
morning?
yeah, that's me. I do wake up singing, but not on the morning. But Mom's kind of like didn't tell you that she's actually been performing Elmo's music for many, many years.
That's
But
what I mean. Yeah. Listen, so I'm just going to repeat. We'll put the flyer up Sunday the 10th at the Bronx Music Hall Plaza, which is at 438 East 163rd Street at 3 p.m. Everybody, come out, chill out, enjoy the sound of the Bronx, the South Bronx,
The concert is free, so
and free.
we hope to see you there.
Great.
yeah, thank you so much.
Listen, this really is, as I said, this is I deal with 100 different subjects. Bronx music is my favorite subject. Bobby Sanabria, thank you so much for everything. And so nice to have met Bertha Hope and Monica Mo Hope on this segment this evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
And
you.
happy birthday, 100 years,
100 years to
Maestro
Elmo.
Elmo Hope.
Beautiful. All right, that will do it for us. We thank Emma Whitford from City Limits, who was in our first segment. We thank these three incredible musicians, and we invite you to get out there. Let's enjoy Bronx music. And you know what I always say: if the curtain don't fall and the creek don't rise, I'll be back next week. Good night.